All right, guys, so today we're gonna make some poblano pepper, stuffed pepper, Tex-Mex stuffed peppers. And these are the ingredients. So I went ahead and prepared an onion. A quarter of it is diced, a quarter of it is sliced, 3/4 are diced. 2 of these peppers, you could make up to 3 with the amount of ingredients we're using. Some minced garlic, lime quarters, tomato paste. We have about a cup of cheese mix. This is 2 kinds of cheese, mozzarella and Mexican cheese, beef stock, some Southwest spice, and sour cream. And we're coming over here to our pan. So you'll notice that I prepared some rice or some pot rice already. I'm gonna make sure that this stays steaming throughout the process. And I went ahead and, spilling some rice there. I went ahead and started this. So you could see that it's okay to keep this going while everything's cooked. While I was preparing the vegetables, I had went ahead and boiled some water, and the rice, this is about a cup of rice, and it makes about this much. The key here is don't let it at any point become totally dry. It's on very low heat. If you need to, you can add some more water to continue to cook the process. This rice is going to eventually be mixed into our rest of the ingredients, so we're not going to really worry too much about it for now. We're just going to watch it and make sure it's not getting dry at any moment. So we're going to start to make our peppers right off the bat. I'm going to start by putting some of these bell peppers in the oven, and I'm just gonna bake these. And you can hear me off on the side here. What I'm doing is grabbing the bell peppers, and I'm actually gonna take the same approach that I used in other videos, where we toss the vegetables that we're gonna be baking. And you can see some oil underneath here. The key is to really toss this in. And by tossing, it means making sure that some of that oil coats it, not necessarily drenched, but just coated so that it becomes slippery. We're gonna add a little bit of salt onto these guys. And then this goes into the oven. About 15 to 20 minutes, give or take. So while that's going, we're gonna prepare our base in our pan over here. Don't forget about your rice. That's just steaming here. We're gonna make sure, reason we want to do this is so that we're not waiting on the rice at the end, and we just kind of keep it to a point where it's very fresh and almost dried, but continually steaming. And we're gonna keep it going because you'll see in the end it's a big part of our mixture. So now we're gonna start out. I had prepped the pan here. I'm gonna put a drizzle of oil or so, not a lot. You can see it's already not sticking to anything. We're gonna start out with some turkey and go right into the mixture here. And it's about a pound of ground turkey. We're just gonna go right in. And that's why you prepare your ingredients ahead of time. actually gonna let it cook a little bit. We're gonna add the onion right off the bat. And we're gonna add our saffron spice right on top. You notice it's a large pot, and it's very nice because everything can collect at the bottom. The wok with the flat bottom shape, and that way we have the ability to sort of cook as we go and move ingredients to the sides if we need to. We're going to give that a shot right now. What's important about this is, again, if you've seen other videos, when we have the turkey, which is a very lean type of beef, want to make sure you're not missing out on any spice. And so throw this guy over itself a couple of times, smash up. You can start to smell the onion right away, 30 seconds, 45 seconds in. So we're going to keep going with this until the turkey's almost all browned. But obviously we're still going to need to brown it from the cooking. So if you're cooking this, it's going to be a dish where you have to be patient for it. You can see here where the spices are still sticking. The onions will cook along. I'm gonna do another drizzle on this side. Bring this to medium to high heat. You can see here where this guy is activated. Exactly what we want. I'm gonna cook this along for a dance all over the pot. Bring it together. Split it apart, bring it together, split it apart. And while you're watching this, like me, you're probably thinking about other things. Maybe you're thinking about your New Year's plans. Maybe you're thinking about how great of a year you've had, and it's been a challenging year. Lots of things to be thankful for this year, lots of things to learn from this year, and really start to consider the new year and how all those lessons that are still fresh in our minds are going to carry us into the year. Maybe you've been waiting for something still this year that didn't quite happen. Maybe you've been working on a project that you ran out of time with. Maybe it's a summer project and it's still waiting for you for the end of the year. Maybe you accomplished everything you needed to do, and you have to think of new projects and new ways to expand yourself, improve yourself, those around you, share with people that you care about some of the things that you enjoy. Whether it's cooking, maybe it's a game, maybe you've been playing video games, board game, maybe it's a hobby. And as always, exercise is not anything that anybody can do without. Maybe you've been working out, or maybe you get plenty of exercise in your daily life. But the important part is to have a focus on health. And so you want to really think about those things, and while you're cooking, as your thoughts will transfer into your dish, your best wishes and your thoughts are going to go right in, as well as the ingredients that you're cooking. And so I hope that you're using this time to really reflect on things, especially right now as we're near the end of the year. So we're gonna let this guy split up a little bit and rest as it continues to cook. It's been about 4 minutes, and we just really want to make sure that we're cooking things all the way through. So there's nothing wrong with keep going a little bit more. In the meantime, we're gonna make sure our rice is not forgotten. Make sure there's some moisture at the end, nothing sticking. That's exactly what we want. We're at an extremely low heat here just to keep it warm. So no real danger of burning, but we just want to make sure. This side, a nice mixture going. Want to use as much of the pan as possible. That's what does the heat transfer, and let it continue to cook. If there's no fluid, then it's direct transfer. So remember, this is a dry set of ingredients here, so it's got to really make the best use of the surface of the pan. Gonna add a little bit of salt, some pepper. Not too much pepper this time. Just a little bit. And add some garlic. This guy gets mixed in there. I'm going to count about a minute or so of the garlic. And it's really more about heating the garlic. And you'll smell it. It seems like it's only a little bit. You'll smell it. If you want to add another clove or two even, you can, or as much as you want. I think garlic with about a pound of turkey is about the right size. The key here is to make sure that it heats up well enough. You can see there's some sticking. It's moist. You want to really mix it in there until it heated it to the point where it starts to release. And if you can smell it, you will definitely taste it in there. So, it's been about a minute for the garlic. Now we're going to add some tomato paste, and I'm going to spread it out just to make it a little bit easier to recombine. And a little bit of water, not too much, about a quarter cup. And let us mix this up well. And you see the color start to spread. Once again, you'll see the water cool off and sort of silence the simmering. When the simmering returns, you know that things are combined and burning. Not an option for us, so thankfully we have a good handle on The moisture. The beef is very lean, but ready to absorb those transfers from the pot back into the beef, ready to combine with the tomato paste. And that's really what I'm shooting for here, is to get paste into each little area of the pot, and where it needs it, bring in turkey that escaped our coating and sort of chunk it apart with our friendly spatula. And really combine things into this delicious looking tomato paste, Southwest chili pepper base. Today it will be rice, not beans. But you can see here where this is definitely going. And remember, in the meantime, we're baking our bell peppers at 425 while this has been cooking. And eventually will rejoin us from the cutting board to the oven to the plate, from the cutting board to the wok to the plate. And similarly, the rice is right next door, waiting for more as well. So we're now at a point where we can definitely start to combine some of this stuff. Add some stock. But we're doing this separately this time to let the process sort of act individual in each of the ingredients. Remember that the start of this, we have combined the onions with turkey right away, and so that sort of makes the turkey be right at home with the onion, rather than cooking the onions first. And so there's a little bit of a difference, and if you want to make this dish twice and try it out, you can. I would say that if you like onions, the way we're making it today is probably the better, or the more onion centered of the two. Another option is to cook the vegetable first, and you can add another vegetable if you do that. Since we just have onions this time, it's okay to sort of cook at the same time with the beef. Can't go wrong that way, and that way we have some of that moisture blend together right off the bat, rather than overcook the onion. But with the stock and the paste, didn't see me add too much water because I wanted to see how thick it would become. And if you picture this, once you add the paste, it can become almost too thick sometimes. The moisture is not quite right. And you don't want to have runny mix. So we didn't need the paste right away, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't having too thick of a mixture. And so I split it apart. And the goal here is, if you picture all of this stuff inside the pan residing in a half bell pepper, you don't want it spilling over, and you don't want it dripping over. And so you kind of want to picture that. And if you're satisfied that if you were to put this inside a bell pepper, you won't have running, you see there's nothing's running off the mixture, then you're good to go. If you put the paste in and it's too dry, you're gonna need to add some water. If you put the paste in and like us, it was need a little bit of water, then that's totally fine. And then you can put the beef stock to round off the flavor. So what we're gonna do here now is let this rest about 15 seconds against the pan. And then we satisfied most of it, it's ready for more. And we're gonna combine our rice here. into the pan. We're gonna do a mixture as we go. Make sure, let's see how much rice we have. We started with a cup or so. Might be a little bit too much for this much filling, but let's see if we can use all of it. And again, what we're looking for with the rice, we have to make sure it was just right in terms of moisture. Nothing too mushy, nothing too dry, and really almost at a point of where you can serve the pot rice. If you weren't going to mix it, where you could just serve it. That is what you were looking for. And with our beef mixture, our base for this, we're looking for somewhat of a deep red color by itself, and once you mix with the white rice, sort of a lightly reddened color, some hints of red in there from the more cooked beef or perhaps a tomato paste, but nothing overly red. We want to have kind of a color that indicates there's both of those things inside here. And I smell the bell peppers. They're very fresh. And I think they're ready for this filling. We're gonna let this go on low heat for a little bit. And we're gonna take out the bell peppers now that this is on low heat. What we're gonna do is we're gonna prepare 4 little pockets here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Go ahead and drain some of this moisture out. Totally okay for it to be in there. But you can prepare some of these little pockets. And what we're gonna do now is we're going to sort of fill these guys with what's all around them. I'm gonna make sure that there's room in here to scoop up the stuff. That's why it's called stuffed. We're gonna stuff and divide, and I'm gonna make sure it's resting against the pan. It's very messy, as you can see, but we're going to just make sure that everything continues to simmer. And as always, with Texas style, Mexican style food, big part of it is going to be some of our diced onion, just like that. what we really want to do on top is some of this mixture go right on top. And it depends how much you and your family likes cheese. Mine likes it a lot. And so I'm going to top off with about a cup of cheese, which is probably as much as you want to use. All right, guys, so I think we're back now. You can see here where this has been heating up nicely with the remnant of the heat. And move it around. You can see here where it's ready to serve. There's quite a bit of melted cheese on top. And so you want to rest this on some of the onions that you had. You can do a scoop of rice or so. All around, depending on how hungry your guests are. They get 1 or 2 of these guys, and you get some of the flavors. And so we're gonna scoop this guy up. We're gonna scoop this guy up. We're going to use a lot of this rice that's been browning with our filling. And our onions. And we just want to make sure everything is really nice and toasty and warm. And we're going to put a little bit of our sour cream flavoring, a little bit of thyme, and this is what our finished dish looks like. Thanks.